of their martial strength lies at sea. On land, they lack the unit with the ferocity of a true Vanguard. Without that, they could merely withstand the Legion's siege, not break it. That changed when my beast crashed into the Legion's rear like a great wave. I can still hear the cheers as the Legion fled. I can feel the echo of the emotions that swelled in my chest. If I could return home, I imagine that is what I would feel like. I won't dare forget it.
The incident with the convoy was no fluke. The writer has returned. This time he had plenty of warning. Reports of some beast queen joining forces with the Sharks reached my ears days before the siege. The ranks have swelled since the convoy, but there is no doubt it is her. Not only did she help break the siege, but for the first time in its existence, the new region is in full retreat. This cannot continue. I will not allow it. I will conquer the Sharks, as I will conquer the entire Ark. But first, I must destroy the so-called Queen. Li Mei Yin, the Beast Queen of the Jungle. That is the name of my foe. It is the name that I have already grown weary of, but soon I will never hear it again. It turns out that she is a masquerade, not beholden to any tribe, including the painted Sharks. So, as satisfying as it may be, I need not actually defeat her. I must simply divorce her from her employers, and I know exactly how to do it. The seeds of my victory are already planted.
Sometimes I fear I have grown fangs or horns without noticing. What else can explain the way others look at me? In battle, the Sharks cheer me, but afterwards, we rarely speak. I camp separately, and only in summon when it's time to discuss strategy. I do not understand. Trust is rare on this island. I know that, but have I not bled in the defense? Have my beasts not died fighting the battles? Perhaps it's just a strain of war. We're in Legion territory now, taking the battle to them. Soon the war will be won. Surely then the Sharks will not fear me.
The Beast Queen is no longer a concern. It was a simple matter, really. A small team of Legionnaires planted explosives at the Sharks' camp in the dead of night, while leaving hers conspicuously untouched. Predictably, the explosions drew the Beast Queen's attention, but the Sharks mistook her advance for an enemy attack. After that, it was only a matter of time before they parted ways. With that barbarian removed from the conflict, this land war will end shortly. As long as they can push the Sharks out of Legion territory, soon we will face them where they are strongest, the open sea.
When anger rises, think of the consequences. I know this by heart, yet I cannot help but see it with fury. Even Wu Zui is keeping his distance. Last night, I awoke to the sound of thunder coming from the Sharks' main camp. I rushed to their aid, but blinded by the night and consumed with panic, they attacked my pack. By the time order was restored, we had both sustained losses. Clearly this was the work of the enemy. Those fools blamed for the confusion. Some even claim I torched their camp. How dare they question my honor after all I've done? Cowards! They had no right! I should have foreseen this. Though I put my pride aside, those audacious Sharks could not. At their behest, I began a long track back to my own territory this morning. They say that they will finish the war without me. Doubtful. Without my pack of the vans, the new Legion will surely smash them to pieces. But what can I do? I cannot protect them if they do not want my protection. Will the Legion come for me afterward? I cannot say, but if they do, I know that I will receive no aid. I must rely on my own strength, and right now, I feel it insufficient. I need to become stronger. I need The deep shadow.
Going over my notes from Mayim's camp, I concluded that the animals on this island are not only used to humans, but used to captivity. Even with their accelerated growth rates, their behavior indicates that they've been regularly domesticated for decades at least. Otherwise, they'd never obey the whims of mankind so easily. With that in mind, I believe that my theory about this island being curated is back in play. In fact, it's possible that not only are animal populations being controlled, but that the animals themselves are genetically modified. However, before I bring this to Rockwell, there is one more rumor that I want to confirm. This is the smoking gun. It has to be. I simply can't be convinced that this place is natural after finding an island populated entirely by carnivores. Even if they fed off with each other, which is awfully dubious given that carnivore meat is much more likely to carry harmful parasites than herbivore meat, the landmass is so small and their population is so dense that they could never maintain it. Yet there it is, hidden away off the northeast coast of the island. Someone would have to put them there on purpose. There's no way that Rockwell can deny my theory now. As I expected, Rockwell couldn't deny my theory, but I can't say that I have his endorsement either. He didn't seem terribly engrossed in the subject, frankly. Something else seems to have captured his attention as of late. The island's obelisks. Apparently, Rockwell stumbled upon a way to interact with the towering monuments while spelunking. Of all things, I guess he felt the need to scratch that old intricate explorer itch of his. It's pretty impressive considering his age. Now that I think about it, the obelisk could be linked to my own findings. Their nature has always been a mystery, and Rockwell made some intriguing observations. I should follow up.
After many days of scouring the island upon Archimedes, and many more fruitless conversations with the witless savage dogs that seemed to make up most of this island population, I finally found the spelunkers I needed. A tribe to the northwest called the Iron Brotherhood has apparently found 3 artifacts themselves, and it's clear that said relics share an origin with my own. In exchange for my artifact, the Brotherhood agreed to report any findings to me straight away as they continue their search. What stupendously good fortune! Now I can return to my alchemical studies with renewed vigor, while they crawl through the island's caverns in my stead. Brilliant! The first round of trials for my new Lazarus chowder have gone marvellously, as I've found it hard to maintain my enthusiasm. After all, I will never get truly definitive results with only Mesopithecus subject. It's quite frustrating. Even so, I see now that Isabel was right. Having my assistants take part in the trials would be asking too much of them, and they're too valuable to risk so frequently. If I can't find human subjects in the nearby tribes, then I shall have to make do with trials on apes and monkeys. Perhaps it is finally time to capture some Gigantopithecus. I admit, there are times when it is useful to be among simple things. For example, I was able to trade several gallons of my Lazarus chowder to a group of hunters in exchange for an entire contingent of tamed Gigantopithecus, and they never questioned whether to be tasted or eaten. Well, I suppose they return with another batch of apes. Then I'll know that Lazarus chowder doesn't cause asphyxiation, won't I? It's not exactly a conclusive scientific trial, but I suppose it will serve. Unfortunately, all these primitive primates have given Rockwell Manor quite the pungent odor. Isabel said she's working on some sort of air freshener, but I hope she makes haste. I am perplexed. Even with an expanded number of test subjects, I just can't find the passion that I once had for my research. I truly thought that my recent adventure had lit a fire in my belly, but I constantly find myself losing focus. Confound it all! Perhaps said adventure itself is the problem. Thinking about it, I'm always eager to discuss the obelisks and the artifacts I found with my assistants, even when I'm not in the mood for research. There is a certain allure to them that I cannot describe, something that causes my thoughts to drift in their direction, like the pull of a strong tide. But it could simply be a passing fancy. I must give myself more time. I was ever so glad to see Miss Walker again. My assistants are clever in their own right, but dear Helena is still the only person that I feel comfortable diving into my deeper theories with. I fear that I may have kept her from getting a word in edgewise, though. Once I got going on the obelisks, why, I just couldn't contain my enthusiasm. My word, I really have become quite enamored with the subject, haven't I? Well, that settles it. After this next set of trials, I shall go check on the Iron Brotherhood's progress. Perhaps I can convince Miss Walker to join me. We could make a real scientific expedition out of it.
Though I've been received by the Iron Brotherhood, they didn't seem very pleased to see me, especially when I mentioned Rockwell. At the first. Add that to the rather deserted, gloomy state of their compound, and I'm starting to feel a bit apprehensive. Their leader can't return from his hunting expedition soon enough. All I confirmed so far is that yes, they gathered all of the artifacts Rockwell sought, and yes, the artifacts were able to activate one of the obelisks. You'd think they'd be celebrating such a monumental discovery, but it's just killjoys as far as the eye can see. Go figure. Just glancing at the artifact, I understand why the Iron Brotherhood's leader didn't want it, since it has no apparent use. All it does is remind him of the tribesmen who died seizing it from that giant spider. Can it really be useless, though? They described the artifacts that activated the obelisk as looking similar to it, so I headed to the nearest obelisk to see if I could get a response. No luck. Maybe it activates something else? Of course! The platform is in the cave. It's a long shot, but it's the only thing I can think of that's similar to the obelisk. Definitely worth a shot. Unbelievable! The artifacts perfectly fit one of the slots in the platform's pedestal. How did I not notice that right away? I really am a dipstick. So, if this key, such as it is, was acquired by activating one of the obelisks, it follows that the other two keys can be obtained by activating the other two obelisks. If the other obelisk left the way that the first one did, that means I have to find a whole mess of artifacts first. And I don't think I can do that alone.
After taking the Painted Shark's last foothold on the mainland, this war has turned into one of attrition. While I construct a proper fleet, the Shark's resources will continue to dwindle, and my flyers will continue to harass their main combat. When we finally stage our invasion, their spirits will be broken, and their storehouses empty. In the meantime, I've been investigating this island's potential for naval warfare. Some sea creatures can carry a small ballista flak on their back, making them a curious sort of warship.
What happened?
I'm interested to see how they'll fare. Hopefully the Sharks can offer a skirmish or two before their will breaks completely. Today shall live forever in the annals of history. Today I raise the new Legion flag above the Painted Shark's battered fortress. And in that moment, my empire was truly born. In that moment, the new Legion became the dominant power on this island. With that in mind, I've given my troops 3 days' respite to celebrate our victory, though I shall not take part. My work is never done, and I mustn't lose sight of my true goals. Only when I have brought this island into a new age shall I be content. Only then shall I rest.
The latest Brother Enlightenment trials have concluded, and as expected, I am disappointed in the results. Though the primate scientists showed increased aptitude for learning, I do not believe any of them have truly ascended to a higher level of intelligence. Well, bugger the little blight, as I say. My assistants have almost finished preparing my supplies for my next expedition, and I have drafted
both of them
to the Iron Brotherhood ahead of my departure.
Yes.
Soon enough, I'll have forgotten all about them. Pardon the interruption. It seems that I have a guest. Now, just what is Mr. Nerva doing here? I suppose I'll find out.
When my scouts reported that they had finally found Rockwell's combat, I set out to meet him at once. And that meant delegating matters that others might find pressing. I did not hesitate. My Individuals like Rockwell are a precious resource on this island. To have him as an advisor would be invaluable. Whether Rockwell accepts my offer or not, my visit has already paid dividends. Apparently, he has spent some time researching the massive obelisks on this island, and theorizes that they may hold great power. If there is any chance that said power can be wielded, I must learn all that I can about them.
I have always tried to maintain a strict neutrality when it comes to tribal matters. But then again, I have never had an offer this tempting from someone as respectable as Mr. Nerva. Not only has he offered to provide me with test subjects, but he has also expressed a mutual interest in investigating the obelisks. All he asks from me is that I provide him with reliable counsel. I would trust few tribes to be able to make good on such promises. But Mr. Nerva's new legion is perhaps the most powerful tribe on the island. Indeed, if they maintain their current trajectory, they may be the only powerful tribe on the island. His offer is worth considering, at very least. After much deliberation, I've decided to accept Mr. Nerva's offer. True, the new legion is not beloved by many other tribes, but was Charlemagne beloved by his enemies? If my studies are to continue, I must be on the right side of history. As part of our agreement, I will need to travel with Mr. Danforth, where to establish colonies until the new legion is taking care of some smaller matters of foreign policy. As such, I have left Rockwell Manor in Isabel's charge.